the defense are also rubbing their hands because Michael Cohen is a convicted perjurer, and they will want to, when they get their hands on him, they will want to try and portray him as totally unreliable, vindictive. He's been on TikTok as recently as last week wearing a T-shirt showing Trump behind bars. And today's evidence should be the most damning day.
Now, let's turn our attention to the States because Donald Trump's former fixer, Michael Cohen, is taking the stand today. It is largely expected to be pretty explosive testimony for the prosecution. Cohen's accused of paying the adult film star Stormy Daniels $130,000 only days before the presidential election in 2016. And that was in exchange for her silence about a previous sexual encounter with Donald Trump. Well, prosecutors argue that Trump paid Cohen back and then falsified his business records to hide the payout. Now, the former president denies all of those charges. Following this trial closely for us has been David Charter, the US Assistant Editor of The Times. And David's with us now. Good afternoon.
Greetings from Washington, D.C.
Thank you so much. Now, is this a bit of a turning point in the prosecution's case?
Oh, this is the pivotal day of the whole trial. Michael. It's been building up to this for the whole process. He's the critical witness that the prosecution hopes will tie everything together, tell the whole story from start to finish, from the initial scheme with David Pecker of the National Enquirer to act as Trump's eyes and ears and to bury any nasty stories about him during the election campaign, up to the scheme to pay off Stormy Daniels for her claims of a one-night stand with Trump, and then to disguise the payments through the Trump organization as legal expenses so that nobody could tie this money to interference in the election, because Cohen has not only got to tie in Donald Trump and try and convince the jury that Trump was behind this, pulling the strings, but also that it was a scheme to influence the election. That's why this charges are more serious than regular falsifying counts charges, which are quite a low level of charge in America. These are felony charges which could bring jail time because there's the added ingredient of trying to influence the election.
Yeah,
and of course, the defense is, yes.
It seems to be that the Republicans, the allegation is that the Republicans were worried that if this news got out, that could sway that election in 2016.
Oh, well, we just had the release by the Washington Post of this salacious recording of Trump describing his seduction technique and how he grabs women in a certain way. And that the Trump campaign was in desperate trouble. And of course, Stormy Daniels was about to go public with her own claims of an affair, which Trump denies. And that really, everyone agreed, would probably have been the end of Donald Trump's presidential ambition. So they had to kill this story somehow, and allegedly, and that's why it was election interference. But
I wonder how damning you think the evidence given today might be.
Well, I was going to say that the defense are also rubbing their hands because Michael Cohen is a convicted perjurer, and they will want to, when they get their hands on him, they will want to try and portray him as totally unreliable, vindictive. He's been on TikTok as recently as last week wearing a T-shirt showing Trump behind bars, and today's evidence should be the most damning day if we get round to. We are supposed to get round to Cohen, of course, today. If we do get round to him and have a good few hours with him, it should be the most damning day of all, because we had the really salacious stuff from Stormy Daniels describing the night that they got together last week. But this is where the prosecution really has to tie in Trump to the scheme that is illegal. So we've had all the details that are not great for Trump about having an affair, an extramarital affair, but this is where he faces jail time.
And remind us what the consequences could be.
Yes, not just a fine, but a couple of years in jail is possible for these offences. I think it's probably unlikely, but you never know. The judge has shown some leniency to Trump, more than you might expect for any usual defendant, for his repeated breaches of a gag order, which could also carry a cooling off period in jail, which hasn't been used yet. But this is the first time, of course, a former US president has ever faced a criminal trial, so we're in uncharted territory.
Thank you so much for bringing us up to speed on the trial. David Charter, US Assistant Editor of The Times. Of course, at the end of last week, we had Stormy Daniels, 2 days of testimony. And then it looks like today that will be Michael Cohen, the former fixer, taking the stand, of course, for the prosecution. We'll keep you across the details here.
Michael, what do you have to say to Donald Trump? You going to tell the truth today in court? What do you have to say? You have any messages for Donald Trump today? You plan on telling the truth? Michael, any comment?
Right through the red light.
Thank you very much. Everybody saw what happened today. I don't think we have to do any explaining. I'm not allowed to anyway, because this judge is corrupt. He's a corrupt judge. This judge, what he did and what his ruling was, is a disgrace. Everybody saw what happened today. He's a corrupt judge, and he's totally conflicted. And I got to get back on the campaign trail. I'm not supposed to be here. We are so innocent. There's never been anything like it. Read every single analyst, legal analyst. I'm innocent, and I'm being held in this court with a corrupt judge who's totally conflicted. Take a look at his conflict. It's a disgrace to the city of New York, to the state of New York, and to the country. Thank you very much.